Hey, what's up guys, it's SPSnake here, bringing you guys another Advanced Warfare video here today. Today we're going to talk about the patch that came out today, but before we do that, let's go ahead and watch that quad feed with the HBRa3 Insanity. This thing is definitely an insane weapon. It kind of lives up to its name, Insanity. It just sounds so beastly, and right there in that nice little triple as they spawn out. But let's go ahead and talk about this patch. This gameplay is going to be nice and short. It's a DNA bomb with the Insanity, one of the weapons that did get affected by the new patch, and all these effects are in a good way. There's been 4 buffs on 4 different weapons. We're going to go ahead and see directly from the patch notes that I pulled from the official website here. So as you guys are seeing on screen right now, the HBRa3, the max damage has been increased. It seems like they made a mistake in the previous patch when they got nerfed along with the BAL. For some odd reason, I never understood that nerf. This weapon wasn't never extremely good to the point where people were complaining about it. Definitely a great weapon, but not as great as the BAL. So I didn't understand the nerf. It seems like they didn't understand it either. That's why it seems like they reverted it back and they added the range back to it. Moving on to the next weapon, which is the AE4, there's a reduction on the recoil and an increase on number of shots before overheating. I didn't use this weapon too much other than the times that I picked it up off the floor from other people that had the season pass. I did notice that it did overheat rather quickly. You only got to shoot a few times before it starts overheating, and the whole animation that you had to go through with the overheating process, it just took a little bit too long and it just wasn't a viable weapon. I guess that's why they also reduced the recoil. I didn't find too much of a problem with the recoil with that weapon, but I guess they just wanted to make it a little bit more viable, which in my personal opinion, I think what it really needed is a damage buff, because it just kills way too slow compared to the other weapons. Moving on to the next one, the EPM3. This is another weapon that I feel like didn't get the proper buff. It has a reduced recoil, so you're going to be able to control that recoil a little bit better. Again, I didn't find too much of a problem with the recoil. The things I did have a problem with this weapon is that it shoots way too slow and the muzzle flash is way too distracting. A lot of the times I lose my target because it's way too high, it's too bright, and I can't see much around it. The red dot sight does help a little bit, but I don't think it's good enough. It's still, there's going to be times where people jumping all around, you're going to lose your target just because there's so much flash on your screen, and that's a big problem. The fire rate, like I mentioned before, it should have been a proper buff as well. It shoots way too slow, and the damage is pretty good. I think it's like 3-shot kill at almost any range, so that shouldn't be touched, but the fire rate should be increased just a tad bit to make it a little bit more viable compared to the other weapons. But now moving on to the next one, and this is the last one for the buffs. Only 4 weapons that were buff is attack 19. The max damage range increased and also reduced spread when using gun ho. Now gun ho, I never felt like it's one of those perks that I really needed on my shotgun, especially since it just increased the hip fire way too much. I don't think this is actually going to change anything. I think you're still going to have a better time and more successful gameplays when you just aim down sight with the shotguns. I know we always used to hit fire, but I feel like in Advanced Warfare, just aiming down sight makes you a little bit more accurate, and also the bullet spread is reduced, which is always nice, so you can get those kills. So this one I haven't actually tried. I'm very curious to see how well it performs with this range buff. I think this is the perfect buff for this weapon. That's what it really needed, not so much the damage, but how far it actually hits targets and how far you can actually get those one-hit kills, because this is the reason why I preferred the Bulldog over the TAC, was because with the Bulldog, at least if you get a hit marker, you can shoot 2 more times before the guy can actually kind of react, compared to the TAC where you have to shoot once, wait a few seconds, shoot again, and that between that process, most likely you are going to die unless the guy is brain dead. But anyways, moving on to a little bit more of the patch notes now. We're not going to go through every single one of these, but there's a few that I want to point out that I think you guys would be really happy about. Number one thing is that they actually adjusted the center point of some of the sniper scopes. Basically, if you guys don't know, on the sniper, if you guys use the default scope, it actually doesn't shoot center. It goes a little bit to the right hand side, and if you use the variable zoom, it actually is centered. It's always hitting in the center of where you're actually aiming at. So it seems like they adjusted the center point. I'm not sure for every single scope or every single sniper. I'm gonna try to test that out and let you guys know in a future video. But another one that I also found that they finally fixed is a glitch with the SAC3 with the suppressors, where it seems like the player was always around you. There was some type of audio glitch there. They finally fixed it, which is always a nice thing. That thing was the most annoying thing in the world. You guys don't know how paranoid I was when people were using that weapon, because it felt like he was directly behind me. Another one that I actually wanted to point out as well, that there was various matchmaking and connectivity improvements. Don't know what that really means, but it's always nice to see it there. It gives me a little bit more hope that they actually are trying to fix the connection issues, which I don't think you're going to see much of a difference. I think this is going to be one of those minor little kind of like updates where they kind of tweak a little bit, but it's not going to be a major difference. If they say skill-based matchmaking has been removed, then that would have been a whole different thing. I would have a party in my house, everybody would have been invited, and I think everybody would have been celebrating. But anyways, those are pretty much all the patch notes I wanted to point out to you guys. I felt like those were the most important ones out of this list. But if you guys would like to see the full patch notes list, you guys can go ahead and click the link down in the description below. I'll make sure to include it. You guys can go and read through it. There's a lot of updates that I didn't mention here, along from store updates and all these crazy mumbo jumbo stuff that I don't really care about. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video and could drop a like, that'd be hella appreciated. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care, guys. Peace.